I'm going to try something slightly different. What I'm going to do is just try applying steam locally to this area. That's where that slightly over exaggerated deflex bend is. If I can just steam that, it might relax and that will straighten the bow slightly. You know, I want a bit of deflex, it will make it look more even. It will be easier to judge the curve of the tiller and it will increase the draw weight. So it's a win-win-win situation. Now what I've done is I've clamped this end in the vise with my magic carpet so it doesn't damage anything. And I've got this end just, you know, sort of 1/4 inch or so above there. So if that relaxes, I'll see that come down. So I'll be able to see if it's actually working. In fact, I might lift that a tiny bit higher. Right, not much seems to be happening, so I've shifted it in the vise to lift that end up so I can just gently lean on that end and just encourage it to go back to where it was. All a bit touchy-feely. There, it's like all this stuff, it's a matter of adapting and trying to learn. So what I've done, I've clamped it nearer the middle. I gave it a fair dose of steam. I leaned on it quite hard, and while it's cooling down I've left it with some bricks just resting on that end. Now I reckon that looks more even. Right, that's it back on the tiller and I think it does look more even. What I could also do while I got the steamer going is I could take this twist out, this limb. You can see how it's on a bit of a twist. Although perhaps I'm just getting a bit over fussy there. It's not bad, and I wouldn't really want to steam it where that filled knot is necessarily. Yeah. Don't know, there comes a point where you're just fanning about for the hell of it. It's looking in better shape now, so I thought I'd take a bit of time and just clean up at least one limb a bit now that it looks like it might make a decent prod. What I've done is I've narrowed the nocks up from the lower edge, again keeping the string line nice and high, and I've checked the thickness at a couple of points to make sure the tips are tapering. I've sanded the knock a bit better, cut the grooves in a bit deeper from where I've removed wood off this edge. All this stuff is scraping off really easily now because where the bow's been flexed it's become nice and dry and crisp, and it's just scraping off very easily. So I'll tidy it up a bit just so you can see what it's going to look like. It also shows off some of the character in the wood a bit more. You can start to see, and the heartwood's not very dark, but hopefully you can begin to see the contrast between heart and sap. Yeah, I've given it a bit of a tidy up, just done the one limb so you can see the contrast. There it's all just roughed out and scruffy, and here I'm only giving it a quick scrape, you know, and just about see the heartwood showing through, but the knock's looking a lot prettier. You can see the twist down the limb overall, but I'm probably not going to bother taking that out. But it's certainly looking more even, and you can see the upswept limbs to help the string clear the track or channel or stock or whatever you want to call it of the crossbow. The tips are glued on with high viscosity super glue. Generally works really well, but occasionally you'll get a situation where it just won't stick for some unknown reason, and then I'll use a good quality epoxy. But the two faces are flattened. That's easy for me to say. Two faces are flattened on the belt sander. high viscosity super glue and just one of those metal clamps across the tip. One of those fellas, they're quite stout and they hold it on nicely. Another thing I was going to mention, you can always use a winch at the foot of your tiller rig. I mean, I've used that on warbows and such like. Basically just a little trailer winch. You can get them off eBay quite cheap. Just mount it up somehow. Or you can make it just a try-out wooden stock with a block at the front to stop the prod coming towards you, and a series of notches so you can pull the long string back into the notch, and then you can put the short string on. Anyhow, I'll get that back on the tiller next. Right, now the knocks have been finished a bit better, it'll make it easier to slide the string up over there. And I'm going to try and string it by, you know, pulling against a long string like you would with a warbow or something. I've just got one of my spare strings shortened a bit through another metal ring. Hopefully I'll be able to do it. I mean, if you've got a really heavy prod, you probably wouldn't be able to do it like this. You probably would need some sort of winch or what have you. But I hope this is visible on the camera. And again, that string length might not be quite right because we have slimmed the knocks. Jesus. There we go. That was quite hard. I mean, that's probably about 4 inches or something. So, oh, here we are, a convenient rule. Yes, as it was, 3.5 inches there, 4.5 to the back. But that's giving you a nice look down the bow. I'll get it on the tiller and we'll give it another pull. You can hear there's certainly some tension there. Right, so you can see it looks more even, still a hint longer there than there. The twist throws your eye, but I think you'll agree it's looking a bit prettier. There's 90, 95. Well, that took it to £100. Yes. I couldn't really read the scale. It's all a bit quick and worrying. I'll review that on the video.